So this is a complete overlook of the importance of investing in glass. Now I have bought the 7-year-old Sony Nex 5T camera and I put the beast Sigma 16 1.4 on it and the results were exactly like I was expecting. What's going on, my friends? It's Jason here. Today we're going to be looking at why you might actually consider upgrading your lens selections before you actually need to upgrade your camera. Now, as a disclaimer, and as per usual, this is completely situational and it all depends on what camera and lens combo you currently have and what you actually are wanting to shoot. But anyway, let's explain what this little thing is. Now, this is the Sony Nex 5T, which was released in 2013. That was 7 years ago. It has the super old APS-C size camera and produces 16 megapixels and it has a whopping 60 frames per second at 1080. Now that was pretty much standard back in the day, and by all means 1080 is still very widely used today. But what if you somewhat put an expensive lens on a cheap body? Now I got this for about 200 Aussie, which is around about maybe 130, 140 US, but this came with the kit lens and the 55 to 210 lens in a bag and a few batteries as well. So the body and kit lens by itself would be around maybe 80 or 90 US. Now that's cheap. Now to some, that is pretty much pocket change. But I guess in the industry, we can all come to an agreement that yes, $90 is very, very, very cheap for a camera body and a lens. But is it any good? Like, the whole intro was shot completely on the Nex 5T with this lens right here. Now, all you need is good lighting and you're away. Like, lighting is extremely important for absolutely any camera you have. Exposing your shot correctly will keep the grain away and hopefully keep it at its base ISO. But before we continue, I use these two lights right here. This is the Bolling RGB LED lights, and I use the Godox SL60 with a new light dome on it. I actually got it today. Now, I had the Godox one beforehand and it completely sucked. There were two issues with it. The honeycomb actually sagged in the middle, so essentially the light was leaking out to the background as opposed to coming straight down at me and just directing the light at me. And the Bowens mount was actually loose. I don't know what the hell was going on there, but it almost seemed like it wasn't a standard Bowens mount on it. And I got this one from Pergear, and man, it is so much better. The honeycomb on it stays perfect. The Bowens mount fits perfect. It doesn't sag. Thanks Pergear for sending this one through. I really, really needed it. What are the advantages of upgrading the lens first? Now, upgrading the lens will usually allow you to get better low light performance. The Sigma 16 has a cheeky f1.4 aperture, which is so much better than the kit lens, which is an f3.5 at 16 millimeters. And like I said, this will allow more light into the sensor and are able to keep your base ISO down, which means less grain. And having an upgraded lens usually means a sharper image. But here are some example shots comparing the Sigma 16 to the kit lens. Now, as you can see, wide open, the Sigma 16 is super sharp, and even stopping it down to f3.5, you still get really sharp images from edge to edge. Already, these would be two major reasons why you would actually need to upgrade this lens. Now, you obviously aren't stuck with one focal length. You could obviously invest in a whole bunch of other lenses to shoot your shooting style also. And this could be much more beneficial to upgrade lenses before you actually upgrade your camera body. But why would you need to upgrade camera bodies? How about we do this? Let's compare the Nex 5T with the Sony a6400. First off, they have the same size sensor, but the a6400 has the newest APS-C Sony 24 megapixel CMOS sensor, and it has better ISO range, it has better dynamic range, has a lower signal to noise ratio, so it's better low light performance. And you're also able to shoot 1080 at 120 frames per second and 4K at 30. Now this could be a major difference when it comes to professional work because unfortunately some companies require a 4K minimum. I mean, this is absolutely silly, I know, but some bigger companies just won't budge with that. It's all about the fancy gear and the 4K or the 6K, 8K, whatever, even though you can still pump out some incredible footage at 1080. But as you can see, there are already some pretty big benefits of upgrading your camera body. Yes, I 100% agree. But what if you upgrade the camera body before the lens? Like, what would the A6400 look like with the kit lens? Let's compare this to the Nex 5T with the Sigma lens and show you the difference. Now you can see here, depth of field is a pretty major factor here, although having that higher frame rate allows for that sweet slow motion and super crisp 4K footage, really makes the A6400 pop. Obviously because the A6400 has the 6K sensor, which downsamples to 4K, which makes it incredibly crisp. But if you compare the image side by side on YouTube, you may not see a large difference because of the depth of field is a little bit, it sort of throws you off with the Nex 5T because of the 1.4 aperture. But you can see in the full export, obviously on my computer screen, the differences are massive when you zoom in and pixel peep. So before you decide to upgrade to the latest and greatest, be sure to really push the limits of your current camera body before you pull the pin on another camera body. Now, lenses will always be the best investment in your toolkit, obviously besides lighting and a few other things that you may actually need for particular jobs. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I really hope you get something out of this and a little bit more clarity into what you might actually do next to step up your content creation game. If you found this very useful, smash that like button. That would be absolutely amazing. And comment below if you actually upgraded your lens before your camera body. I'd really like to know if people are actually doing that or they're still trying to get the latest and greatest. I know a lot of people don't have the kind of budget some other people do, but I do recommend invest in those lenses before that camera body. Anyway, guys, my name's Jason Morris. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.